got shined in the eye with a laser beam. This is one of my worst days. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to do something different. For those of you who don't know, my name is Bre. Talk a lot about teaching, education, lifestyle, everything in between. I was a substitute for 2 years. And in today's video, I want to talk about substitute teaching stories. Now, I'm just gonna give a front load of these were not the most positive experiences, but they do have positive endings, positive lessons learned. So what I did was I contacted my really good friend, and I'm gonna call my friend Jay. I've known my friend Jay since 5th grade. We talked on the phone for hours about our terrible yet weird, strange substitute teaching stories. So I wanna share that with you today. I love story times. Hopefully this will make you laugh. If you're a sub teacher, let me know your terrible sub stories down below, or you might have really positive ones. I've definitely had positive sub experience stories, and I've had really hard days subbing. So without rambling, let's get into the video. So we're gonna start off with their story. And this is my friend Jay's very first day subbing, very first day being a substitute. So he gets a call, he goes super early, and he can't really figure out, when you're new to subbing, you don't really know what to do and log in. So he kind of just spent a lot of time trying to log into the computer, and before he knew it, he was like, okay, I gotta go to class and look at these sub plans. He goes in, it's a 4th grade class, he looks all around the room, and there are no subplans. He looks everywhere for subplans, and there are no subplans. So it's automatically like the worst case scenario as a sub, especially your first day. So he goes up to the office and says, hey, I don't have subplans. And they try to contact the teacher. The teacher has no emergency subplans. They can't get a hold of the teacher. He goes to the 2 neighboring teachers, and they kind of just say, oh, well, they're gonna do PLT, they're gonna do iReady, they're gonna do this. And this was really interesting because my friend Jay had no idea what those acronyms meant. So he's just like, okay. And before you know it, it's 10 minutes before the bell, scrambling, has no idea what to do. And then the bell rings. Time goes by, about maybe like 3 to 5 minutes, and the kids aren't anywhere to be found. So he opens the door and he's just like, where's the kids at? The neighboring teacher says, oh yeah, you gotta go pick them up at the basketball court. Okay. So he goes out to the basketball court, everyone's staring at him. All the kids are staring at him. He goes up to the front of the line. The first thing he hears is, hey, we got a sub! We got a sub! And then he knew. He knows how his day's probably gonna go. So he walks the kids back to class, and he's just like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. And then the kids are just staring at him. The kids are just staring at him in a seat. Like, what is he gonna do? And my friend Jay says, all right, get out your math books. This happens all the time. The kids say, we don't do math right now. Okay. You know, some time goes by, they're just working out the math book, and then all of a sudden the kids get up and they start leaving the room, walking around, going to different parts of the classroom, and he's just like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? He asks the student, and the student goes, oh, it's PLT. And that's the acronym the teacher mentioned before, but he doesn't know what that means. PLT is when students trade classrooms for like 45 minutes of the day to get personal learning time. A chunk of a certain level of students go into this room for this amount of time. So he had a certain level of kids. They all come in. He gives the whole spiel of, if you guys are cool, I'm cool. Just sit in your seat, do your work, don't get up. This kid's challenging him, gets up out of his seat, continues to walk to the back table, talking back to him. Jay controls the situation as best as he can. He gives the student an ultimatum and says, you can choose to continue to do this, or you can do what you're supposed to. The kid moves back, and he's bothering everyone around him. Kid that keeps giving Jay a hard time now is bothering other kids around him. And he bothers this one student so bad that he slams his computer and starts bawling his eyes out. After this happens, it's like a ripple effect. The entire class goes crazy. So what Jay decided to do is write their teacher a note saying they were giving me a hard time. Recess, it's now time for recess. Kids go out to recess. So Jay's just decompressing, and he hears a banging at the door. So he opens the door, and it's the 3 kids saying, why did you write our names down? Why are you writing our names down? My friend Jay goes, because you were talking and I asked you many times the consequence if you continue to do this action. The kids go, you suck, you suck. Jay goes, Want to see a magic trick? And Jay closes the door on them. And they continue to bang on the door and yell, "You suck! You suck!" And then run away. So the bell rings. Jay has to go get the kids at the basketball court. And as he's walking out, the kid that was yelling at him prior points at him and yells, "You suck!" All the teachers are staring at Jay. All the duty aides are staring at Jay. And Jay just does what he must to make the kids stop. So it's towards the end of the day and he's like, "Hey you guys, if you just finish these math pages and you turn them in, you get free time for the rest of the afternoon." He told the class like, "Thanks, you guys are being so good. This is my first day subbing." And the kids were like, "Yeah, you did a really good job today subbing." Jay spent 45 minutes going to each student and asking, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And they had a good discussion about it. And Jay brought up, "What kind of mindset do you think you need to achieve that job? And what do you think your future is going to be like? What kind of school do you think you're going to need?" And he will say he has never been so tired his entire life than the first day subbing. So let me talk about my first day of subbing. It literally wasn't anything too crazy. Once I was given the okay to sub, kept looking. I see a 7th grade position, hit accept 7th grade at a middle school, and I just show up. And it's actually a resource class, and it was really easy and a really good day. And I remember one of the kids just looking at me and going, "You're really nice." And I'm like, "Thank you. Okay, that's awesome." We're on to story number 3. And this is my friend Jay's second day of subbing. Now he gets a job at our particular middle school. By the way, my friend Jay is a male. I don't know if that will like help you with this story. He walks down the hall to go to the classroom. These 2 kids are standing in the hall, staring him down. And the kids go, "Psh." So Jay's waiting for first period to start. First period comes in, and usually first period is always very chill, very quiet. They're all tired. He gives the whole lowdown of, "If you're cool, I'm cool. Just don't get up. Do your work, don't get up." You know, that first period was good. It was good. Second period rolls around. Word got around that there was a sub for the day. Second period rolls around and they come running in like a bunch of zoo animals. This is when Jay starts to give his introduction of, "Hey, this is my name." So my friend Jay has an uncommon last name, and he tried to make the students like understand how to say his name. He said, "Take the D out." And all the kids totally lost it. So that was a learning experience. You can't say things like that to a bunch of middle schoolers. Now he's kind of testing his limits. So first period, they were all quiet. He said, "Don't move, can't get up." This next period, he goes, "Okay, I don't care if you guys sit next to your friends, just get your work done." All the kids take advantage. Literally, trash on the floor, eating, chips on the floor, chips all over the place, desks turned, kids sitting on top of their desks, kids moving their desks all over the place. All the kids leave and he can just see the huge mess on the floor of chips, books, spit wads. The kids literally crumpled up their assignment and threw it on the floor. Okay, now third period comes around. Right away, a kid walks in and looks at my friend Jay and says, "Damn!" Damn! Well, he actually said another word after damn, but I'm not gonna say it. That can be up to your imagination. So that's Jay's first impression of the student. So Jay learned his lesson not to let kids sit wherever they want. He said, "You gotta sit in your seat, you gotta do your work, and don't get up." So once the kids come in, Jay's standing at the front of the room waiting to give roll. A group of kids decide to take their desks and start to make a group. They take the desks out of rows and they start to form a group, and it's like 3 boys and 2 girls all in the corner. Jay's just like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, like, no, that's not how, we're not doing that here. Like, that's not how this is gonna go." And the students are going, "Sir, sir, sir," like making fun of him. But Jay holds his ground and he's just like, "Hey, you're cool, I'm cool." He keeps going in and out of the classroom, in and out of the classroom. And by the way, that's a huge no-no, like that's a huge liability on the teacher. And Jay says, "Hey, you either need to get in or I'm calling security." Continues to leave, in and out of the room, in and out of the room, running down the hallway. So he calls security, security comes, picks up the kid. So 4th period comes around, it's okay. 5th period comes around, it's fine. Lunchtime was in there. He's, you know, the day's almost over. He opens the door and a kid just sprints in. And again, Jay gave him the warning of, "Hey man, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna get sent up with security. Jay's giving his whole like intro, hey, I'm Mr. E, da 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 da. And right when he begins to talk, the same kid that was running, sprinting inside the classroom yells, damn, you sound like Bruce Wayne! And all the kids lose their mind. Everyone loses their mind. My friend is a male and he does have a deep voice. Jay has a really hard time making the class calm down and not be so wild. It's the end of the day and my friend Jay says he just sat at the desk for about 10-15 minutes and thought, wow. And as the main premise for this story is, and I will agree, that middle school is a completely different animal than elementary. Middle school is completely different because the kids will absolutely trash the class. Kids will throw trash on the floor, spit wads, they get up all the time and they just go to the water fountain, take paper towels, get them wet and slap each other in the face with it. Then he realized he doesn't really like subbing middle school and he just really loved elementary. Okay, my turn. I will discuss the day I had at this same school. It was in the early stages of my subbing career, so I had no idea what I was getting into. As a sub, you have to log in your hours onto the computer. So I'm like, okay, where is the Kronos computer for me to log in? And they go, oh, it's in this room. So I walk in and I'm like, where's the computer at? It's like a really messy room. I had no idea where the computer is. There's copiers, so it was kind of like this teacher workroom, but it wasn't. So I'm like, okay, there's a computer here. Like they said I have to log into the computer. So I sat down and I started logging in my time and then this lady walks in and goes, why are you at my computer? And I go, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know like where the computers were to log into my time to Kronos. And it was very awkward and right off the bat, I was like, okay, all right, this is how the day is gonna go. I do not have as good as a memory as my friend Jay does, but I can remember like the pivotal moments of this day. So it was an English class, it was in the main quad, and it was, I think, 8th grade. Just absolutely bizarre, the things that they talk about. They think they know what this topic means, but they're too immature to understand what it actually means, if that makes sense. They talk about a topic like it's so cool, but in actuality, it's really cringy. And it doesn't make sense because they're too immature to understand. Kids are talking about really cringy stuff. Again, just throwing stuff on the floor. I gave them an assignment. They just crumpled up, threw it on the floor. And after every period, I spent like a couple minutes cleaning up the floor because I'm like, I cannot let it continue to look like this. So it was towards the end of the day. This is what I remember. It's almost the end of the day. I have 2 kids start fighting each other. Literally, this girl body slammed this boy to the floor and I called security and they got them and took them away. So the 4th story is at a middle school. I made it through my whole day and what I can remember this was one of my final days subbing. It was actually right before I was going to Jamaica and I remember sitting there like, okay, this time next week I'll be in Jamaica in paradise. And I have this 8th grader. And very snappy, talk back. I just ignore it because when you're a sub, you choose to ignore a lot. Sitting there and I'm reading. This kid shines a laser beam into my eye. So I call security and they take him away and apparently this kid never gets in trouble, but he shined it into my eye twice. This is an intense one for last. Are you ready? This is one of my worst days. So it's 8th grade at this school. This teacher had no prep. I don't know how that's possible, but I did 8 full periods. I think it was in the middle of the day. Kids come in and they're all sitting doing their work. A girl gets up, goes over to this boy and starts yelling, talking down at him, give me back my phone, give me back my phone. So I get up and walk over and I go, do you have her phone? Give it back to her, please. And then he gets up and starts getting in my face and he was eating barbecue chips. So as he's yelling at me to get the F away from him, he's spitting barbecue chips in my face. Okay, so admin comes in, they go, what's the problem? Admin goes, well, why didn't you send them out? They don't listen to me. They refuse. That's why I called you. I'm not even kidding. I would say 90% of the kids were against me, saying, she's lying, those kids didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. It's the whole 8th grade class against me. The admin goes, all right, get up and get out of the class. And they don't even listen to the admin. It was a huge fiasco. So then those kids leave. Then, you know, time passes. This is the same period. It was like one of the final periods. Always one of the last periods is the longest. This girl took perfume and sprayed it into another student's eyes. And then I had to call admin and security for that. That was one of the worst subbing days I've ever had. And I was like, that wasn't worth the money at all. All right, you guys, well, I hope that brightened your day and I hope it made you laugh. And I hope I did a good job telling these stories, but to be honest with you, nothing compares than hearing my friend talk about it. He's very good at storytelling and it's absolutely hilarious. You know, even though I had a crazy day subbing, I still enjoyed doing it. I was never as stressed as I was as an actual teacher. Completely different than subbing in so many different ways. They're almost incomparable. All right, you guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section down below if you like this, you want me to do more. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll catch you guys in my next video.